Yeah. Because, you know, Anik, it's really interesting that if you would have asked me just a couple of months ago, that I would be changing the way that I'm, you know, restructuring my model, I would have told you you're crazy, right? Because I really like my $7 program being at the front end of it. But when you showed me this, I was like, this makes sense because I always wished that I would have had some kind of education piece before the $7 program.
Mhm.
Right. And so when you were showing me this, and I want you kind of to, you know, walk people through, I already have so many of these pieces, and so when you showed me it just like, and I know a lot of my audience already has so many of these pieces in place. Like, oh my gosh, like if you can just like walk people through, and then if you want to talk a little bit about the Pentagon of Scale, because when I watched you do that video the other day, I was like, oh my God. But I'm gonna ask you for a favor here after you do this. So
No problem. I think people are going to have huge epiphanies, and I hope that you do. So in front of you, you see I don't know, my diagram, right? Which looks simple, but I got to tell you, like it took me a long time to create it, and I'm so proud of this. This is my Mona Lisa. Um, so we're going to start at the top, at the bottom. So you see the words vertical scaling, and at the very bottom, you see horizontal scaling. Here's the biggest problem that I see with experts. Experts love to have lots of content, lots of courses. We love to create new stuff. So we create new stuff all the time. The problem is the more new stuff you create, you're slowing down your ability to scale. Okay. You are absolutely in your own way. Horizontal scaling is when you create different programs. So, Laurel, you have a message, and I love the fact that that's your message. But now let's face it, Laurel, you're good at some other stuff too. You're really good at, DM selling. You're really good at building your brand. You're very, very good at community building. So you could easily be like, hey, here's my $7 a month program on DM selling. Here's my $7 a month program on community building, and it would sell. Your community would be very grateful for it and would buy it. But that would be you doing horizontal scaling. You'd be diluting your message, diluting yourself, creating extra work, and you wouldn't be able to quit working every day by 11 a.m., which is like your current thing. Which I love, by the way. I love the fact that I'm like, hey, can we do something at 3? She's like, I'm gonna be on the beach hanging out, having fun. I don't want to talk to you at 3.
my brain would be like
Yeah.
lava at that point.
I'm like, I respect that. So if you want to scale, vertical scaling is where it's at. Horizontal scaling doesn't come in. I don't allow my members of my mastermind and people that are getting coached and mentored by me. You are not allowed to do horizontal scaling until you're doing a minimum of 1 million a month. At which point we might entertain a discussion on it. We're still not probably there yet because most people do not realize that no matter how micro your niche is, it's way bigger than you think. I've always said this to people. If you have a niche that you believe can do a few million a year, all right, and you shouldn't really be in a niche if you don't believe it can do at least a few million a year. You don't have to do a few million a year, but should at least be capable. Well, if you have a niche that's capable of doing a few million a year, it's capable of doing 1 million a month. Period.
That's crazy. So you're talking, so when you say horizontal scale, you're talking about one offer, 1 million a month?
That's vertical scale. I'm talking
Oh, gotcha.
one message million a
Oh,
month.
I see. I
Yeah,
see.
and we're gonna break that down, and you'll see how I talk about it. So first and foremost, we have to understand the top and the bottom of this is what's vertical scaling. Vertical scaling is when you focus on one message and go deep in it. So you attract an audience and you give them the ability to learn and master that message from you in depth. People do not like the worst thing that could happen, Laurel, is if I read your book, you teach me a system, I'm like, damn, I like this. I want more of this. I want to be able to connect with Laurel. I want to watch her talk about it. And you say, hey, I have an academy. Hey, I have my membership program. Hey, I have this. And then I'm like, I'm in, man. Like, I want to learn more from you. And I get in there and you're like, oh, hey, by the way, now that you're here, let me tell you the 6 things I'd never wrote about in the book. Let me tell you the 6 things I kept out so that I could upsell you this program. It just doesn't feel right. I'm like, it starts. Anyone who's genuinely in love with their message can't hold shit back. Like they want you to have it all, even if it's in a book or so. You should not be making it a goal to try to get people to upgrade to your next level or ascend with you on the back of new information. People don't want that. They want to ascend with you on the back of intimacy. So they want your message delivered in a new format or in a more intimate format, or they're willing to pay you to accelerate their results, right? Hey, if I read Laurel's book, I'm empowered. I got her system, but if I join Laurel's mastermind and pay her $40,000, she's going to invite me to her beach house to sit there with me. What would take me months, I can implement in a week or a day. People will pay for that rather than Laurel taught me 10% of her system and I'm going to pay her so she can teach me the 100%. That just doesn't, and that's how most people think about ascending, and it's the wrong way to think about it. That's why they struggle to ascend their customers. So vertical scaling is that. Now, let's look at the next part of the diagram.
So
You'll
can I
see,
just say something? I love
yeah,
that you just said that because sometimes people have me questioning because like I built the $7 program to be an all-in-one solution, right? And a lot of people said that I built that wrong because I'm giving everything in that $7 a month program. But if I'm listening to what you just said, like in my gut, I'm like, oh shit, I did the right thing because they literally get to see my everything that I have about my system instead of saving
forget,
it for later.
forget your gut, Laurel. How much revenue have you done in the last few years?
A little over 4 million,
How much did you spend on ads?
about 150,000.
So the math tells me you did it right.
That's awesome. No, I look, no,
Your
it's
the
awesome validation.
results of your audience say you did it right. And that's the thing. That's the thing because your audience loves you. Your audience loves you. They love you because of that. That's the referrals and the retention and the that's it, right? And so we'll get to that and you'll see where it is in the system. So right here you see it says level 1, level 2, over here it says level 3, and then it says level 4. 4 levels of scale. You unlock one at a time. This is what I love about this. You tell me where you want to stop. You do not need to go through all 4 levels. That is a personal decision. Level 1 is attached to this word right here called liquidation. All right. So I'm going to now go through A, L, B, and R. Very important. It's the crux of a expert to authority model. But just wanted to explain to everybody, there's 4 levels of scale. They unlock at different times. So one of the cool things about this model also is when someone absorbs it, they go, where am I in this model? Where am I? What do I need to strategically do right now? Not like because too many people are thinking about and taking training about crap they shouldn't even be doing right now. So it's what do I need to do right now to get to the next step? Let's cross the other bridges when we get to them. So level 1, okay, so right here, let's start over here. It says POI. Okay. This is my traffic system. So P stands for paid traffic. O stands for organic. So this is your social media, your SEO, your, just organic content, your YouTube, your podcast. I stands for influencers. This is the referral. This is your customers. This is your affiliates. This is the laurels of your life that you become such good friends with and that love your message so much that they go live on their Facebook page. I don't take this lightly. You're giving me Laurel, you're giving me your prime real estate that you've spent years nurturing. I'm on your Facebook page, right? And you're telling your audience, like, hey, listen to this guy. I didn't get there because I paid you money. It took me years of building trust, rapport, relationship, and earning that from you through value. So hold that thought. So what I tell people is, first and foremost, if you want to have a cyclical model, you need what we call, so there's only 4 offers you need to be able to do a million a month. I'm not saying you're going to do a million a month. All right. I'm Mr. Compliance here. So let's get it very clear. I'm saying just because you have a 500 horsepower engine doesn't mean you're going to go 200 miles an hour. But I'm saying you can't go 200 miles an hour unless you have a 500 horsepower engine, right? So they're 2 different statements. And here I'm giving you the engine and I'm letting you change and control the accelerator. So you need 4 offers max. You can do it with less, but if you have more than 4 offers, you're slowing down your ability to actually scale, which is a huge thing for people that I want them to take away. So let's break down the 4 offers. And this is a big part of my Pentagon, by the way. So the first one is A, acquisition. What does this mean? What is your offer that allows you to scale to cold audiences? Because scale innately means bringing more people into your ecosystem. That innately means you have to be able to attract people who don't know who you are into your ecosystem. That's how you grow. That's how you scale. You got to increase the customer acquisition. Your acquisition offer is very key because it needs to be something that people in the world who don't know you would be willing to invest So if I only have a 10K offer, let's face it, at some point, I'm going to be reaching a cold audience. It's going to take a lot of work to get them to spend 10K. And if I'm able to convert them within a 24-hour window, which we see out there talked about a lot, guess what I'm doing? Most likely saying a bunch of non-compliant stuff, making a bunch of promises I'm not going to be able to back up, and I'm ruining my brand. And I'm going to get stuck at level 3 because I'm not going to get the retention, I'm not going to get the referrals, and I'm not going to get the raving fans. So acquisition is that offer that brings people in. I love books for that. What better way to tap the cold audiences than to tap into the psychology that's been built into their brains for decades that instantly, millions of people have seen my ads, but only have had 5,000 book sales. But millions of people who've not even bought my book know, oh yeah, that dude, he's always got the FTC book, or he's always got the information marketing book, or the email marketing book, right? So acquisitions are always going to lose you money. In my experience. Now, Laurel has a different way and she proves me wrong. She's like the one person that makes me question that statement. But typically acquisitions are going to lose you money. They're loss leaders. So people are like, great, Anik. It cost me $50 to $60 to sell a book on Facebook that I collect $10 on. Thanks. I'm losing $50 a sale. Sounds like an easy way to go bankrupt real fast. Yeah, you're right. So now we move into the second function of offers that you have to have, which is liquidation. So you need to have the bumps and the upsells behind the book so that you can recapture as much of that $60 cost of book sale from Facebook that you can. You'll get 40 or 50 of it back if you do it right, right? Maybe you'll get all of it back. Maybe you'll get more. Maybe you'll get less, but you're going to recapture a portion, a significant portion of your ad spend. That leads us to level 1 scale. Level 1 scale says, hey, I'm able to rotate the same dollar spend to acquire new customers. But if I go past a few $100 a day, I start to go negative. So I'm limited at my scale. So I'm at level 1 scale, but at least it's something. I'm getting new customers in every day without having to go bankrupt. All right, now we move into the third function. Okay, the third function of your offer stack, which is the back end. This is going to be your 1 or 2K offer. This is where you typically bring a webinar in and sell with a webinar. And this is where you break into profit because you've liquidated most of your acquisition cost. They come on, they see you as an authority already. They've experienced some of your training by now, and they're like, damn, I want more. And there you are. Hey, I've got the XYZ program to get more. Now you're actually profiting on those acquisitions that you got a week ago, a few days ago. Now it unlocks level 2 scale right here. Why? Because now you can grow your ad spend every week or every month. So if I've spent 1,000 one month, the next month I can spend 1,500. The next month I can spend 2,000. So I'm increasing the amount of customers I'm acquiring, level 2 scale. All right. So now we've done 3 functions, right? Acquisition to get them into our ecosystem, liquidation to help us cover the cost of that advertising, and number 3, the back end to put us in profit because that's in the end why we build a business. Level 4. So sorry, not level 4. Thing number 4, function number 4 is, in this I say recurring. And it's because as your business grows and as it scales, you're going to start having expenses. You're going to have some employees, you're going to have some softwares, you're going to have things that have to be paid, regardless of how your business performs that month. They expect to be paid. So now what you want to start doing is building in recurring revenue as a minimum. If you're not already doing it, like Laurel's doing it from day one, awesome. That way, every month you start the month and you're like, man, my expenses are covered. Like I'm here for profit. My whole 30 days I'm working for profit. Otherwise, you know what I was doing for the longest time in my business? The first 21 days of every month was so I could pay everybody else. The last 7 days of a month, I could profit. Do you know how mentally draining that realization was? I didn't want to get up and go to work. I'm like, you know? So the recurring could be your mastermind, it could be your 10K offer, it could be your events. That's where you build that evangelist tribe, the raving fans, because those are the people that are the most committed with you. And now you're making a lot more money. So the more money you're making, you can invest more. But this is where level 3 scale kicks in. I learned this from a movie. The name of the movie is Contagion. So COVID happens, we're stuck in our houses. Everyone's watching Contagion. It's the worst movie to watch during a time where you think you're all going to die from COVID. But at the end of the movie, my wife's like, wow, that was intense. And I'm just sitting there staring. She's like, you all right? And I'm like, oh my God, turn your customers into viruses. are not. Holy smokes. And I ran off. I came down to this very office because I needed to like I needed my mad scientist moment. I went over there to my whiteboard and I was like or my blackboard and I was like I gotta start. And my wife literally thought she's like you're insane. R naught is a scientific term they use to track how viral a virus is, right? And um so R naught is if you have an R naught of 2, that means for every one person that gets infected, one more person's going to get infected. Okay. So for one customer you get, you're going to get one free customer. So an
Mm.
R naught of 2 is it's pretty serious. That virus is going to spread. COVID was like 1.8. An R naught of 3 means for every one customer you pay for, you're going to get 2 free customers. If you hit an R naught of 3 or 4, the world's over. Like that disease is going to spread in a matter of a month. So I'm like, I want to be an R naught of 3 or 4, right? This is how the biggest brands in the world have become the biggest brands in the world. But you can't get there unless you're good. Your product is good. Your delivery is great. You are helping people. I only talk about people that I like. I only talk about or I really don't like, which is backwards. So like you don't want to be on that side of it. So level 3 scale doesn't unlock from your paid and your organic. You can only market your way so far if the thing doesn't deliver. So it innately forces us experts to be like, hey, I gotta be the best. I gotta deliver the best. I gotta show up. And what that'll do is right here, it shows you, takes you to I. And it pours back through the funnels. Now more and more people are talking about you, right? And so that unlocks level 3 scale. Now in the middle here is the key to locking level 4. And that is what we call max. Okay. And I have been talking about this for 2, 3 years, and I can't get enough experts to do this, but this is a game changer. Max stands for monthly activation campaign. Look, in the end, marketing is about excitement. And too many of us forget that. We're so busy trying to automate everything that we forget that there's a level. The marketing is just excitement. Create excitement. Your list, a great funnel, is going to convert 2 to 5% of the leads that come in. Fine. I know I got some people right now, I'd do better than that. I know I always have that. All right, 10, 10%. Oh, I still have people that are thinking I'd do better. Fine. 15%. All right. At scale, cold audiences, you're not converting 15% of your leads, but let's just say you are. 85% of people that have joined your ecosystem that raised their hand and said, I'm interested in this topic enough to give you my name, my email, whatever, 85% have not bought from you. And yet here you are, and again, the real number is more like 95%. Here you are consistently obsessed about getting new people, new people, new people. What about these people? You're telling me that there's no money in there? You're telling me that those people who raised their hands and joined your system, you're telling me that there isn't a huge amount of profit there? And what happens is there's they just don't trust you enough yet. It's not the right time. They're going through some personal issues. They're financially going through something weird, or their child is sick, or they're like, who the hell is this brown dude on screen talking a bunch of rubbish? I'm not ready to give him money yet. But then they're in my ecosystem, and every month I do an exciting monthly activation campaign. I do a webinar, I do a masterclass, I do a challenge, I do a summit, I do a live event, I do something where I'm like, I corral everybody into one place, and you never know at what point which one of those 95% of people are ready to activate. And so my monthly activation campaigns are pure profit because they're coming from my existing buyers, existing leads. And what that does is it gives me a massive unfair advantage on my paid traffic because it really increases my LTV. And now my competition be damned. They don't stand a chance. And so once that ecosystem is up and running, I haven't found one expert in my current standing that runs this well that comes back and doesn't tell me that they're very profitable. And at that point, you run it, and you get to a place where you're like, Anik, I really have absorbed the market, and I will have my doubts, but I'll look. And if I feel that you have, I'll say, hey, we're ready for horizontal scaling. And all we do with horizontal scaling is copy paste this model with a new front end message.
Hmm.
And then we run that until that's doing its market absorption. And then we move to the third. But it's a very structured way to get there. And then over here, you guys see this Pentagon, which that's like, you're not going to build a home, like you're not going to build a home and start working on the third floor. You're going to pour the cement and build the foundation. So the Pentagon is like, hey, there's five key areas that you have to be prepared for from day one. There's the offers. Offers are king. You got to have a great offer, right? There's the conversion systems, which funnel is right for you. There's the acquisition systems, which ad models are right for you. There's the monetization systems, which is how are you going to um, increase the LTV? So the MAC falls into that. And the final piece is team, is how are you going to build the system so that you're not working 28 hours out of 24 a day and that you have a team that can actually run it. But you know what? The reason most people say my team sucks, it's not the team. Well, maybe you've hired incorrectly. You don't have a system for them to plug in. Listen, 98% of this world is not an entrepreneur and shouldn't be an entrepreneur. They wake up every morning and desire the very thing that entrepreneurs hate. They desire routine, predictability, and they want to do the same thing. So when you have a system that runs like this system, everyone knows their role, everyone knows exact function they need to do, and now you empower your employees to kill it for you because creativity has been taken out, systemization has been put in, and so now you can have a team actually run it. And so that's where this whole thing flows. And what I love about this model is every time I meet another brilliant person like a Nick, right? And I haven't met him, but I've met him through you, and they tell me their secret sauce, and I'm like, it's right here. Like I didn't miss it. It's in the model, right? Nick's talking about level 3. He's from day one, he's building a business and teaching his audience to build a business that's level 3 capable.
That's awesome. Like, yeah, whenever you first, like I said, whenever I first saw this, I was like, I have most of the pieces. Now I just need to figure out like how to put them all together. So I know you touched on, the Pentagon. Um, can I talk you into doing a live training for my people on the Pentagon of scale? Because I know there's people that are like, what offer should I do? Like they're looking at this and they're like, I'm on board, but like I
Let's do it. So
let's
that's
get more
just
details.
yeah. So just so everyone knows, I never do the Pentagon presentation in a webinar format or anything because it's my keynote at the event, and it's like that's just like my it's where people have their biggest ahas and epiphanies. But at the same time, now I'm like, hey, I gotta stop holding it back. So we're writing a book about it, and I'm building this model around it. But I would be happy to because I have seen more. So there's actually one more thing, Laurel, that we'll do on the training that follows the Pentagon, which I think you've seen. I don't know if you've seen, but I call it the scale decision timeline. And it breaks what it does is you watch that, and this is the one presentation, the decision timeline, which comes at the back end of the Pentagon. People will come up to me who don't know me, who I don't know, have never met, and they'll say, that part of the presentation, it was as if you know the inner workings of my business. You know my psychology. You know the pain I'm waking up with every morning. Like it's like, how did you read my mind? I'm like, because I've been doing this 23 years, and every pain you've had, I've had 10 times, and I've had to figure out how to solve it. And so what we can do on it is we'll start with the Pentagon of scale, and I think people will love that. It's going to give them a framework. By the way, the Pentagon of scale applies to pretty much every business. Right now, my wife is getting ready. Within the next 1 year, she's going to open a franchise, local business, that I'm actually really personally excited about because I spend a lot of money on this one service that she'll now have a business. So like I'll be the best customer for the franchise. But um, she doesn't even know this. I'm already building this model for her marketing model. I was talking to the franchise owners and they were like, "Oh yeah," like the guy I was talking to, he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm top 5. We're going to be number 1 franchise in the industry, in our franchise within the next year." And I was just chuckling and I'm like, "Hey, dude, enjoy it while you can because my marketing model is going to blow right past it. Like I know how to get that." So this model and the Pentagon is going to apply to her business too. This is a offline franchise, and I'm gonna literally apply it with a few small tweaks to her business, and we're gonna see it scale faster than any other franchise. I already know that because I've seen this applied so many times in the last 3 years since I've been teaching it. First time I ever taught the Pentagon scale was October of 2022 in a live event. And you know what? I'm not shy to admit the fact that I was forced to figure this model out. Because when the FTC stuff happened and I had to pull way back my business, I lost a 40 million a year company that I had to pull back. Not because the FTC said I had to do it. I have zero bans. Everything is good. But I was a publishing company. And so I was using other people's brand and name and likeness to promote my offers. Um, and I didn't want to put them at unnecessary risk while I'm under investigation, but that represented 80% of my revenue. So I made the personal choice during the investigation to shut my company down because I didn't want the risk to bleed over to other people. But now, when I came back, you know, how many times have we answered the question, Laurel? I'm sure you get asked this too. If you lost it all tomorrow, what would you do to come back?
Yep.
And I have been answering that question for 15 years. And Laurel, you know what? Every single podcast I've answered that question on, whatever the hell I said is not what I did. When it actually happened, this is what I did. And when I started doing it, because I had to sit down and say, how am I going to come back? I'm not, this isn't going to be my story. Hell yeah, I'm going to come back from this. I'm going to be victorious from this. And I realized this is what I implemented. And so when I had it and I unlocked it, and then I first pitched it, or I first presented it in October, I was in front of a room of 127 and 8-figure earners, and they lost their minds collectively. They were like, how the hell did you just like read into my soul? And so let's do that. Let's do that presentation and help your audience have that same impact that they had. I think we can do it virtually. I believe that.